Now, your forecast first, sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Lots and lots of sunshine today, and now we've got the clear skies for a very comfortable and nice night across central Illinois with no weather issues. You can see some showers out across Indiana, some activity out across Iowa in between. Where we sit, all is good. Our temperatures tonight, still a little warm though. We're in the mid-70s still at 10 o'clock. 77 in Champaign, 75 in Springfield. Like St. Louis still at 82 right now. Feeling a little more summer-like. I think tomorrow we touch the 90s area-wide as the humidity comes up as well. But when will we see some rain and storms to cool us back off? We'll show you that when we come back. WCIA3 News starts right now.
Now from WCIA3 News.
Just completely removed him from the district.
That's the message players on one high school football team are sending to the school board. Why they might not have to play for their coach much longer.
A lot of what ifs, you know. I never will get to see her be a mom, get to be in her wedding.
Her daughter died 2 years ago after her car collided with a train. How this mother is trying to prevent another tragedy at that rail crossing. And a plan is in place for U of I students this fall. How it also affects whether the Illini will play.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA3 News at 10.
I just don't want the younger kids that are coming up to deal with what we have dealt with, because it's just not right for him to have to deal with that.
And there's a good chance his teammates, and future players won't have to. Good evening, I'm Paul Cicchini. The Georgetown Ridge Farm School Board is expected to accept the resignation of its high school football coach. It's on the board's agenda for Saturday. Josh Kavanaugh is accused of being racist towards students by a former coach. In comments made online, Kavanaugh is said to have, among other things, called black students the N-word. Several former students came forward and said similar things. Tonight, members of the football team met in a show of solidarity against the coach and in support of a former member of the coaching staff who says he was removed for standing up for player safety and their rights. Players say Kavanaugh was both physically and verbally abusive towards them.
One teammate of mine, we were in film session, he was kind of dozing off, and our coach just comes up and slaps him to wake him up. I just feel like there could have been an easier way, like slapping the desk, or he just laid his hand on a kid, and I don't agree with that.
During the time, it looked like the teammate that got called it wasn't really fazed, but I know deep down he was hurt, and I felt like no one spoke on it because we were all like scared and didn't have the confidence to say anything about it.
Well, we called Kavanaugh several times and sent him an email. He has not responded. We did, however, receive several anonymous calls from people who said the accusations against Kavanaugh are false. Now, the board meeting is at 5 on Saturday. The agenda lists only his resignation as head football coach. Kavanaugh is also the assistant principal at Mary Miller Junior High. A petition online to have him removed from that position has already collected hundreds of signatures. Guidelines for how K-12 schools should reopen could be coming soon. State Board of Education met yesterday to set rules for districts, but the final result is taking longer than expected. One of the rules will be a mask requirement for students and staff. That had one board member troubled.
I'm just concerned about holding children to a standard, a health standard, that we're really not holding adults to currently as it relates to, public places now.
The rules were expected to be released today, but have been delayed. Schools are allowed to reopen during Phase 4 of the Restore Illinois plan. All 4 regions of the state are scheduled to move out of Phase 3 on June 26th. The U of I is preparing for students to return to campus this fall. The school revealed the framework of its plan today. Classes will be a mix of in-person and e-learning. Labs and classes with hands-on learning will most likely be held in person. The plan can change. It relies on the state getting in and staying in Phase 4 of reopening. The vice provost says a lot of work is going into getting the reopening right.
We don't have all the answers to every question yet, but I think we've made tremendous progress, and we're very confident that we can move forward with a safe semester on campus. It will look different than a normal semester, but we feel like this is the right thing for us to do as an institution.
The school also announced a plan to test 10,000 people a day. Students will also receive a mask and thermometer when they come back to campus. Another person in Champaign County has died from COVID-19. It was a man in his 70s with underlying health conditions. He's the 11th person in the county to die from the virus. Someone also died yesterday, a man in his 40s without any pre-existing conditions. The state is reporting 55 new deaths. That brings the total in Illinois to more than 6,500. There are about 590 new cases of COVID-19. That's well over 134,000 total. Positivity rate over the past week is still about 3%. Now for a follow-up, we now know the name of the man who died in a crash in McLean County. Happened southeast of Colfax yesterday. 28-year-old Kalen Roberts of Gibson City died. McLean County Sheriff's Office is investigating what happened. Nearly 2 years after her daughter died when her car collided with a train, one mother is still fighting to make sure no one else experiences a similar tragedy.
That's about as far as I've gotten so far. I always seem to hit, a wall.
She's been trying to get the Railroad Commission to make that intersection safer for drivers. 18-year-old Savannah Day died at the railroad tracks just south of St. Joseph. Tonight, her mother shares the struggle for safety changes in that area. WCIA3's Jennifer Jensen has that story.
Remembering the night of October 3rd, 2018 is painful for Gloria Day.
She just didn't see the train coming.
Her daughter, Savannah, was driving west on Homer Lake Road when her car hit a train. This teenager never got the chance to grow up.
You got a lot of what ifs, I never will get to see her be a mom, get to be in her wedding. Oh, it's been very, very hard. You learn to relive every day. Every day is a struggle.
This pain is something Gloria Day wants to prevent anyone else from going through. For more than a year, she's tried to get crossing arms installed at the tracks where her daughter died.
I feel like every track should have arms anywhere. This is a very, very busy intersection that, lots of people travel at a high rate of speed. A lot of people are so used to this road and they just fly over the tracks.
The State Commerce Commission is responsible for implementing railroad improvements. While this project is in the works, it's not scheduled to happen until next year.
I wanted them, right away, but nothing could be done about it.
In the meantime, she wants to make sure her daughter's life is remembered and what happened to her isn't disregarded by other drivers.
I don't want her to be a statistic out here. I want her to be the reason these arms are up. I want her to be the last. I want it to just be over. I think I want an ending.
Reporting, I'm Jennifer Jensen, WCIA3, your local news leader.
The official report says Savannah Day was not driving under the influence, nor was she on her phone at the time of the crash. The former executive director of a nursing home in Rantoul has been arrested. Police say she stole more than $20,000 from the facility. Happened at the Villas of Hollybrook. 44-year-old Kimberly Cross is charged with financial exploitation of an elderly person. Officers found checks written to the villas had been either altered, cashed, or deposited into an account other than the business account. Officials in Champaign County are looking for someone who stole flags from the Veterans Memorial at the courthouse. The Veterans Assistance Commission says they disappeared earlier this week. The flags of each branch of the military and an American flag are flown at the courthouse. Only 2 people are able to take them down. The county says neither of them did. The VAC says it's disappointing someone would do this to a memorial of someone who protected our freedom.
There's a lot of men and women in this county who are veterans, and some of those men and women did not come back home after defending our freedom to allow someone to do something like this.
The county's contacted the sheriff's office about any cameras that could have seen who's responsible. New flags have been ordered to replace those that were stolen. They'll be flown sometime next week. Champaign County Housing Authority has revised its criminal background policy. Now, people with felony convictions will not be denied housing. By doing this, the Housing Authority of Champaign County is giving people a chance to overcome some obstacles. Director David Northern says this is a way to support reuniting families and provide reentry housing.
You're 10 times more likely to be homeless if you came out of a prison or a local jail. When your family allows you to come out, when you come out of jail and your family may allow you to come back into the household, Housing Authority's policies currently will say no. That's what we want to change. So we want to give people an opportunity to overcome.
Federal HUD rules still apply. Housing will be denied for those using illegal drugs and sex offenders. The U.S. Supreme Court stopped the Trump administration's attempt to end deferred action for childhood arrivals, or DACA. The program allows young, undocumented people to stay in the U.S. if they were brought here by their parents when they were young. Over 700,000 people benefit from the program nationwide. And for them, today's decision is a sigh of relief for now.
This particular administration has no regard really to try to create a system that is not really essentially hurting, but not only benefiting our country, but really making it right where it works with families.
The Trump administration can try to end the program again and restart the entire legal process, but it will need to provide more convincing reasons for why the president believes the program is illegal. Fireworks will light up the night sky over one town, but two communities are teaming up to pull it off. Plus, it's a major fundraiser that's held every year, except this one. And having students back on the U of I campus is a big step forward for the university, and it's also very promising for sports this fall.